Scottie Scheffler just walked Shinnecock Hills for the first time, and he came back with something very specific to say about the course, where he can complete the career Grand Slam. The world number one is 2 weeks away from the most significant moment of his career, and the things he revealed about that golf course change how we should think about his chances. Here's the full story. Scottie Scheffler made his first ever visit to Shinnecock Hills Golf Club on Monday, June the 2nd, a quiet scouting trip to Southampton, New York, just weeks before the 126th US Open will consume the entire golf world. He had never set foot on that property before. The course that will define whether he joins the most exclusive club in the history of his sport was, until this week, just a name on a map. And when he sat down in front of reporters at the Memorial Tournament and described what he found there, the words he chose revealed exactly how he is thinking about the biggest challenge of his career. "That was my first time on property," Scheffler said. He admitted the course was roughly what he expected, having heard plenty of stories from players who played there in 2018. He mentioned hearing rumors about how difficult the greens were, and then he said the thing that gave everyone a sense of what Shinnecock will demand this June. He said he was a little surprised by the width of the fairways, but that the green complexes are extremely difficult, and that this is where the greatest challenge will come from. In 7 precise words, he identified the real test: not the rough, not the distance, not the wind, which at Shinnecock can be savage enough to make a par feel like a birdie. The greens. The putting surfaces at Shinnecock Hills are among the most treacherous in all of golf, and Scheffler, having walked them for the first time, confirmed that the stories are not exaggerated. To understand why his words matter so much, you have to understand what is actually at stake at Shinnecock Hills in 2026. Scottie Scheffler is already one of the most accomplished golfers of his generation. At only 29 years old, he holds 4 major championships. He won the Masters in 2022, becoming world number 1 for the first time. He won the Masters again in 2024, cementing his dominance at Augusta. Then in 2025, he delivered one of the great individual seasons in recent memory, winning the PGA Championship at Quail Hollow by 5 shots and the Open Championship at Royal Portrush by 4. That 2025 double makes him only the 4th player ever to win the Open, the Masters, and the PGA Championship before turning 30, joining Jack Nicklaus, Gary Player, and Tiger Woods in that category. And yet, with all of that, one major remains. The US Open is the only piece of the career Grand Slam that Scottie Scheffler has never won. And if he captures it at Shinnecock Hills, he becomes only the 7th man in the history of professional golf to win all 4 major championships, joining Gene Sarazen, Ben Hogan, Gary Player, Jack Nicklaus, Tiger Woods, and most recently Rory McIlroy. The company does not get more exclusive than that. The timing is almost too cinematic to be real. The final round of the 2026 US Open takes place on June the 21st. That is Scottie Scheffler's 30th birthday. If he walks off the 18th green at Shinnecock Hills with the US Open trophy, he will have completed the career Grand Slam and turned 30 at the exact same moment. You simply cannot write a more compelling story than that. The golf gods, if they exist, appear to have arranged something very specific for that day. Quick pause. If you believe Scottie Scheffler is going to win the US Open and complete the Grand Slam on his birthday, type happy birthday in the comments. If you think the curse of the career Grand Slam will find him like it found so many others, type not yet. I read every single one, but none of that narrative matters if the game does not hold up. And this is where Scheffler's Shinnecock scouting report becomes so significant. He identified the greens as the ultimate test. This is a player who has won 4 majors, who has one of the most precise and repeatable ball-striking games on earth, and who visited the course for the first time and immediately pinpointed the most dangerous element. That is not a nervous player looking for excuses. That is a champion who did his reconnaissance and came away with a clear-eyed diagnosis of what it will take to win. Because the greens at Shinnecock Hills have destroyed careers and broken championships before. In 2018, the last time the US Open was held there, the course was set up so fiercely on the 3rd day that players walked off publicly calling it broken. Scoring averages above 75, putts running off the greens and down slopes, leaving players further from the hole than where they started. Phil Mickelson infamously hit a moving ball on the 13th green, took a 2-stroke penalty, and made a 10 on a par 4, one of the most controversial and painful moments in his career. Shinnecock in its cruelest form is not just hard. It is designed to find every crack in your game and pry it open. So how does Scheffler's game actually match up? Honestly, it is suited to this test almost perfectly. He is the most accurate ball striker in the world. He does not leak the ball sideways. He controls his distances with a precision that is almost mechanical. In a US Open that will demand positioning, patience, and an ability to manufacture pars from difficult situations, those qualities are worth more than raw power. He also has a strong track record in the US Open specifically. He has 4 top 10 finishes in his last 5 appearances, including a runner-up in 2022 and a third-place finish in 2023. He knows how to contend in this championship over 4 days of the relentless grinding pressure the US Open produces. Rory McIlroy waited 11 years for his Grand Slam to be complete. Scheffler has his first chance, right now, at 29 years old. And there is another dimension to consider that is easy to overlook. Scheffler arrives at Shinnecock without ever having played a US Open there before. The 2018 edition was played before he was on tour, so he has no history at this venue, good or bad. For some players, that is a disadvantage. For a player of his mental caliber, for someone who has proven again and again that he simply processes a course and figures out how to score on it, the lack of prior experience may actually help. He will not walk those fairways haunted by a missed putt from 3 years ago, or a bogey on the 17th that cost him a major. He will walk them purely as a problem to solve, and Scottie Scheffler is the best problem solver in the game right now. His 2026 form supports the belief that this could be his week. He has been remarkably consistent throughout the season. His most recent major, the PGA Championship at Aronimink, produced a tie for 14th, and he was openly critical of the pin placements and setup there, which told you that his game was good enough to compete, even if the conditions frustrated him. At Shinnecock, where the difficulty is built into the fabric of the course rather than manufactured by controversial pin positions, that frustration should be replaced by something that looks far more natural for him. He will find the setup challenging in the right way, the kind of hard that rewards what he does best. There is also the question of how the weight of the moment will affect him, and this is the one area where history has been unkind to great players. The career Grand Slam has broken some of the finest golfers who ever lived. Rory McIlroy spent over a decade haunted by it. Sam Snead never completed it. Arnold Palmer never completed it. Lee Trevino never completed it. Tom Watson never completed it. The list of players who dominated the game and still fell short of history's ultimate prize is long and full of greatness. So the question hanging over Scheffler is whether the weight of chasing something this significant will change how he plays, whether the occasion will shrink him even slightly at the moments when he needs to be biggest. Everything about who Scottie Scheffler is as a competitor suggests the answer is no. He is not a player who gets visibly caught up in narratives or external pressure. He talks about his faith, about enjoying the game, about finding joy in the process rather than the outcome. He has played under pressure of every kind and responded by simply playing better. When he was ranked number 1 and expected to win every week, he did. When he was the defending Masters champion, with the eyes of the world on him at Augusta, he delivered. When he was chasing the Open Championship at Royal Portrush, he won by 4. He does not appear to have a dial that gets turned down by the size of the moment. If anything, the moments seem to turn his dial up. His first visit to Shinnecock Hills left him with a clear read. Wide enough fairways to give the long hitters their opening, but with green complexes so severe that positioning your approach and controlling your ball on the putting surface will ultimately decide who wins this championship. Scheffler strikes the ball to positions. He controls his trajectory. He putts with a consistency that makes the rest of the field look inconsistent. Every one of those qualities is exactly what Shinnecock rewards. So here is where everything stands going into what might be the most remarkable week of Scottie Scheffler's remarkable life. He is 29 years old, world number 1, 4 majors in the bag, the Grand Slam within reach, and the final round falls on his birthday. He has walked the course, identified the key challenge, and come back from that walk with no visible sign of worry. He looks, as he almost always does, like a man who simply plans to go out there and figure it out. Whether the golf course will let him is a different question. Shinnecock Hills has humbled better players than anyone. But if there is a player alive right now who can handle everything this moment demands, the skill, the pressure, the history, the birthday, the eyes of the entire sport on every single shot, it is Scottie Scheffler. He broke his silence on Shinnecock, told us what he found, and he did not flinch. That alone tells you something important about what is coming. If this built up your excitement for the US Open, drop a like before you scroll away. It is the single biggest thing that tells the algorithm to push these stories to other golf fans who might never see them. And subscribe, because this is going to be the biggest week in golf this year, and there is a lot more to come.